Well, we've been doing the Optimism Index. NFIB has been putting that out for 45 years, every month. And last month, it held pretty steady at 101.8.
Is that a good number?
It is a very good number, historically high. For the last 2.5 years, pretty much since the election of 2016, the Optimism Index has been shooting through the roof, and it's been bouncing around in a band of very high historical numbers.
A little lower than it was last summer, but still high.
But it's still historically high, and we're not seeing much that tells us it's going to come down anytime soon.
Let's turn to the question of finding workers, and they are struggling. They cite it as their #1 challenge operationally. What does this tell you?
Well, this is the tightest labor market in 45 years. Within the Optimism Index, there are several factors, and finding qualified labor and the question of having no qualified applicants, not qualified applicants, but no applicants has been going through the roof.
And one of the things they've had to do, Kate, I gather, is take people who have no or very little experience, and they've lowered the qualifications that they're requiring to fill those jobs.
Especially for those higher skilled positions. You know, some of the businesses surveyed by the NFIB said they're willing to lower the things that they're looking for in candidates, lower those qualifications in order to fill those roles. They're also doing more on-the-job training, which I think is really interesting and also kind of a benefit in this tight of a labor market. Right now, it's an employees market, right? We do this series, Help Wanted, every month on Jobs Friday. We talk to businesses big and small, and basically in this tight of a labor market, there are so many opportunities for workers to go out and find these jobs. So one of the things you're seeing is upskilling, you know, training workers that you already have, and it makes them feel good because you're investing in them, showing them that you want them to be a part of your business as it grows. I know also, Juanita, that they're paying more to hang on to workers in this tight of a labor market too.
That's right. Last month, we hit well, over the last 2 years, we've hit some compensation records in the 45-year history. Last year, it was job creation was the big record. This month, there was a record for retention. So the fewest number of separations from a small business. So that tells you just how.
But if you're retaining more, right? That's what you're talking about. You're paying more, right? You're having to train more, right? That means you're spending more if you're a small business. What is this doing to their cost structures and their margins?
Well, the good news is that on Monday, everybody filed their taxes for 2018, and small businesses, it was the first time under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And because of a lot of the things that we did during that bill, there was a large small business deduction. So small businesses were taking advantage of that deduction for the first time. And I am hearing from NFIB members all over the country that they've saved money. We had a member who was talking to the president the other day that said that small business deduction literally saved his business. They are using the money to raise wages. They're using money to train. Some people are reinstating health benefits where they weren't able to do that because premiums became so high over the last few years. Raising wages. I mean, it's all good news.
The labor costs, though, definitely are an issue, and they were at a record high last month. And one thing that I was chatting with Juanita about, and I've talked with Bill Dunkelberg, their chief economist, about, is that optimism is so high. Would it be higher if they could find people to fill these roles? And that's something I think we'll, of course, continue to monitor in the months to come.
And a lot of these roles at the entry level, they really don't have particular skills that they need, right?
Well, the small businesses are not looking for that much of a formal education, and particularly the entry-level jobs. And that's why this on-the-job training is so important. That's what they do. One of the biggest problems they have, though, given the amount of time that it takes to train a worker, it's not necessarily money, it's the time. They put all of that effort in, use the time, the employer's time, the other employee's time.
Yeah, it's a human resource cost.
Yes,
it's not just a financial cost.
Then they have trouble keeping that worker. So the worker will leave after having, had this all this job experience. And it was time-consuming for the owner.
This is a random question. I don't know what the composition of the membership of the NFIB is. Are they mostly service businesses, retails? What are they?
We're in every sector. NFIB has membership in every sector, from manufacturing to financial services to health. We have doctors' practices, a lot of agriculture, a lot of retail, a lot of restaurants. But we have doctors' practices, lawyers, financial services, construction, manufacturing, and agriculture, everything in between.